Bienvenue à ceux qui viennent de nous rejoindre. Nous allons continuer donc, cette présentation avec, pour commencer, une petite discussion sur le projet de Sadia que vous avez vu tout à l'heure dans l'espace étudiant. Donc, avez-vous des questions, des remarques?
The way you present, the way you presented us, I mean, you took us through your statements based on what your interviewees said to you on the scarf issue. And then go ahead for the...
I don't know if all of you had the opportunity to see the project, but it's essentially looking at the headscarf in Turkey through a cinematic lens, so how it's portrayed in the cinema industry. And there are a lot of interesting remarks about the project. The first really important thing was about male patriarchy in the industry. And when I speak of male patriarchy in the industry, I'm more specifically talking about New Turkish Cinema, which is an independent movement. From our observations, it looked like it was a movement where the filmmakers are mostly urban, elite, secular men. And so that was a really interesting find because it's slightly different from the television industry, and what makes it different from the television industry, as you guys must have heard in the presentation before lunch, was the fact that the television industry, we can see there's an increasing control of the AKP government, of an influence over the television industry, but we can't really see that in the cinema industry, and there are very strong reasons for that. I think one of the biggest reasons is that the fact that the cinema industry is not exported out of Turkey, and even within Turkey, it's not as popular as the television industry. The kind of films that are exported from Turkey outside are films that you would get to see in the Cannes Film Festival or in Berlin. So it's a very subjective, very narrow, not narrow, but very specific audience, as opposed to the television series that go all over the Middle East, South America, etc. The other interesting point was about the headscarf woman in Turkey. The fact that the headscarf woman is not particularly wearing the headscarf just for Islamic reasons. The headscarf has also been a statement of fashion. The headscarf has also been a cultural factor, a very important cultural factor in Turkey. So when I explained that more than 60% of the women in Turkey support the headscarf, wear the headscarf, it's not only because of religious reasons, it's also because it's something that exists in the Turkish culture, especially in the rural parts.
Just a note on this, there is a difference between the rural headscarf and urban headscarf. The headscarf you are talking about, I think it's an urban headscarf, which villagers will never wear, or they are not at that stage yet, they will maybe wear when they migrate to big cities.
No, absolutely, and I think...
And it doesn't represent the same thing. One is a political message, the other is tradition.
Exactly, and that is where I think the statistic has its flaw, because most women who would wear the headscarf who we interviewed would very easily claim that 60% of the women in Turkey support the headscarf, but they would never explain the difference, as Ma'am just explained, the difference between the traditional rural headscarf and the more turban-style headscarf in the urban spaces. So this difference is really important to remember, because if I just say 60%, which is what I put up in my exhibition, and the reason for that was simply to bring up this question: what do you mean? What does the 60% mean? And the 60% does not mean women who support the AKP. The 60% does not mean only women who live in rural parts. The 60% does not mean women who are a complete strict adherence to Islam. The 60% includes everyone, something that the government does not want to differentiate.
Très bien, merci beaucoup.